2 of core alignment and awareness for pirouettes. Let's begin. Take your roller and just place it underneath your head, just right at the crook of the neck. Now, if this feels like it's too high for you, or it pushes your head up into some lateral flexion, just go ahead and move the roller away. You could do this whole series with your head resting on your hand, or you could get a pillow and just put your head on your pillow and just rest it there instead. So I'm just gonna use my roller and place it underneath my head. And I'm just gonna take a look down as I'm side lying and make sure that my ribs aren't jutting forwards, but they're pulled back so that my ribs are balanced over top of the hips. And that's gonna be our neutral position when we're doing our pirouettes. We're gonna really make sure that those ribs are stacked over top of the hips. So now the knees are right up in line with each other. Our pelvis is stacked, one hip right on top of the other. And now I'm gonna reach this top hip away from the rib cage. So I'm thinking about creating this beautiful line. So when we're in our rear position, we wanna think about having that equal space in between both ribs and the hips so that both sides of the waistline are nice and long. That's what we want to think about when we're side lying here. So we're going to have a little mouse house underneath the waist at the bottom. So here we're going to start off with the feet down. This is level 1. You're going to take an inhale and exhale as we kegel and lift the knee. We're squeezing those heels together. Inhale to lower. As you lift the knee, you're going to try to avoid rocking the pelvis backwards. So it's really that true turnout using those glute muscles. And this is 4. If this is easy, go ahead and pick the feet up and do it with the feet in the air. It's going to be a little bit more challenging. Again, keep that little mouse house underneath that waistline. And we have 7 and 8, 9, last one for 10. We're gonna stay there and just little flutters for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Really getting the burn going on. 2, 1, lower all the way down. We're gonna pick up those feet and do a little combo. So we inhale to lift the feet, exhale to open the knee, inhale to close the knee, exhale to lower the feet. Inhale to lift, exhale to squeeze and lift the knee. Inhale and exhale. Inhale up, exhale open. Inhale lower, exhale lower the feet. Inhale lift the feet, exhale open the door. Inhale close the door, exhale lower. One more set for 5. And close. We're going to go into some can-cans. So we're going to open that door again. Our hips are still stacked. We're going to stretch and lengthen that leg nice and long. Bring it back into touch. Little can-can and reach and in. Keep reaching those toes out of the hip. Think about reaching the toes in opposition of that bottom shoulder. How far can you stretch those toes away from that bottom shoulder? One more time. Bring it in and lower all the way down. You should feel those turnout muscles working really well for you right now. And from there, we're gonna go into some side lying, but we're gonna work on our obliques. Take your roller and move it so that it's right underneath your rib cage. So it's not at your waistline, but your ribs are resting on the roller and right underneath your armpit. So here, we're gonna go ahead and just, again, make sure that those ribs aren't jutting forward. Your rib cage is stacked over the pelvis. And we're gonna lower the head all the way down. Our arm is in our high 5th position. And we're just gonna take an inhale to prepare it and exhale as we kegel. Feel those ribs glide down to the pelvis as we side bend. And then inhale as we lower. We exhale. I'm gonna keep that head lined up with that upper back as we're doing those side bends. So the line of the head and the neck always follow the line of the upper back. And we've got, this is 4. Now, if this is easy to you, you can lengthen that top leg. 5, that's still easy. You can lift up the leg at the same time. We have 8, 9. One more, really getting those obliques. And lower all the way down. And we're ready to go to the other side. So take your roller and just place it underneath the crook of your neck. And again, you can use your pillow, or you could have your head resting on your hand for this. And we're just going to take a glance down and just make sure that those ribs are stacked over the pelvis. And we're going to reach that top hip out of those ribs, so we've got that equal space between both ribs and hips, so the waistline is even. So here, we're going to start off with those clamshells. We're going to take an inhale and exhale, keeping that top hip nice and level. Inhale to close. Exhale for 2. Again, you could start up if you know that that's where you want to be. And exhale, 4. And 5. 6. And 7. 8. Really feeling those deep lateral rotators. Last one for 10, little pulses, and 10, and 9. How high can you lift your knee without letting that pelvis roll backward? And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower all the way down, ready for our combo. We inhale to lift the toes, exhale to open the knee, inhale, close the knee, exhale, lower. And this is 2. And 3, and 4. We still have that little mouse house underneath our waistline. 5. Lower it down, ready for that can-can. Lift up the knees, open up the knee, and we're just going to reach. And 2. We're going up to 6, 3, and 4. Keep reaching that top toes out of the hip. And 6. Stretch it in. Lower all the way down. Take your roller and place your rib cage on top of that roller. Take a peek down and just make sure that the ribs are stacked over top of the pelvis. Lay yourself over that roller. Again, you can start this exercise with those knees stacked. You can have the top leg straight, or you could be automatically going into those side bends with that leg lift. Let's go ahead and start. I'm going to show each position. Take that inhale to prepare, and exhale as we kegel, and lifting it up for 10. And exhale, 9. And we have 8. And we're side bending as if we're going through 2 panes of glass. 6. We're not rotating that rib cage. And 4. And 3. Reach those toes in opposition of the shoulder. 2. Last one. Stay and reach, reach, reach. And lower all the way down. And we're ready for spine twist. Take your roller, and you're going to hold on to the roller just close to the chest. You're going to gently pull it into your chest and make sure that those shoulders are open and away from that roller as you're sitting. So I'm going to show this exercise from the side. When you're sitting, you want to make sure, again, that the ribs are stacked over the top of the pelvis, or you could think about it as the sternum stacked over top of the pubic bone. So if you're forward, you're going to be putting a lot of pressure into that upper mid back. If you're back, you're going to be putting a lot of pressure into that lower back. So to make sure that you're in a position where you feel like your hip flexors are nice and soft. If while sitting here with the feet forward, you feel like you're curving backwards in order to sit there, you can cross your legs and do this in crisscross, or you could put a pillow underneath your bum, get you up a little bit higher to open up those hip flexors a little bit. So here, let's go ahead and have those feet out in front. Again, you could be cross-legged or sitting on a pillow for this. You're going to take an inhale to prepare, and the shoulders are nice and open. We're going to exhale, pull that roller in toward you as you rotate. Try not to let the shoulders move. This is all about the waistline cinching in to cause rotation. Exhale, pull up 1, and 2 and 3. Inhale to the center. Lift up that navel to your heart. 1 and 2 and 3. Inhale, center. Grow taller with each rotation. 3, inhale, center, and 1 and 2, 3. Inhale, center. Try not to get those shoulders involved. Just those ribs are rotating around the spine. Make it a little bit harder. Reach it overhead. 1 and 2, 3. Inhale, center. Watch that the feet aren't shifting as you're doing this, but the feet are staying nice and level, so the pelvis is staying square to the front. 1 and 2. I'm reaching my opposite hip back as I'm doing this. Inhale, center. Lower it down. Just give yourself a nice little spine stretch. Inhale. Exhale, nod the head. Imagine you're peeling yourself away from a wall. Inhale up. We'll do that one more time. Top of the head rolls forward. Feel those ribs folding in and back to the spine. Inhale to stack yourself back up to sitting. And we're ready to go into our stomachs. So cross your legs, just roll forward. So now we're ready to go onto our stomachs. Now if when you're lying on your stomach, your lower back feels tight and tense, go ahead and place a pillow underneath your belly to get you into a more imprinted pelvic position. And if that still feels tense to you, you can bend your knees into a frog position and squeeze your heels together to reach your pubic bone down into that mat. So that should help to alleviate that tension. All this work should be, again, tension-free. Okay? So we're gonna start off with our breaststroke preps. I'm gonna have my legs all the way pulled together, but if you feel tension here, keep them open or go into that frog position. So rest your hands on that roller. Relax all the way down. Imagine that you've got that little ice cube underneath that belly button. We're gonna take an inhale just to lift the sternum up, just to the lower rib, and then lower back down. So we inhale to stabilize our scapula and lift, and exhale to lower back down. Inhale, scapula is drawing down your back to stabilize, and lower. 2 more, those glutes are nice and tight. We're lifting up those knees, nice energy through the body, and lower all the way down. This time we're gonna lift it up, reach out, and pull the roller back in. So we're pushing down into the roller with the palms, pull it back in. And we have 3 more. You should feel those muscles around the scapula working. Last one, lower all the way down. We're gonna do that again. Take that inhale to lift, exhale to roll. Navel's lifted up to that spine. We're reaching the pubic bone down into the mat. 3, we're pushing down into that roller. And 5, lower all the way down. Last time, we inhale to lift. Exhale, reach. 1 and 2. Hands balanced on the shoulders. Watch that you're not hyperextended in that neck. You're looking down. Last one. Lower all the way down. From here, you're gonna grab onto the ends of that roller. You're gonna push in on the ends of that roller. So we're gonna take an inhale just to come up to a hover. Again, we're kind of gently squeezing that roller. We're gonna inhale to stay. Exhale, do side bend. You're gonna draw your elbow down toward your hip. And inhale, bring it back to the center. So exhale, we'll imagine that we're skimming over the top of the water, and we're not gonna let our body lower into the water. Bring it back in. Navel's lifted up. We're working those obliques. Again, we're giving that slight pressure inward on that roller. Bending that elbow toward our hip. One more time. Bring it back to the center. Lower all the way down. Just move that roller out of the way for a moment. Place your head on your hands. Bend those knees to that frog position. We're going to find that neutral pelvis. So feel the front of the hip bones, or the ASIS, in contact with the mat, and feel that pubic bone reaching down as well. Take an inhale to prepare, and then exhale as we kegel and squeeze those heels together, engaging our glutes. Inhale to release. Exhale as we kegel, lifting up that pelvic floor just till it feels toned. And inhale, release. We have 3 more. And release. Exhale, 2. Last one. Bring it back in, lower all the way down. We're gonna open out those legs so they're a little bit wider than our hips. We're gonna turn out, reaching those knees outward. Go ahead and bring that roller back in. From here, we're just gonna take a nice inhale. Go ahead and actually lengthen those arms. So we're gonna have the palms on that roller. And here, I'm hovered just about 2 inches away from my mat with my chest. So I'm gonna take an inhale and then exhale. I'm gonna reach my right leg and left arm away from the floor and the roller. Inhale to lower. I'm also lifting that chest at the same time. Really think about reaching your toes in opposition of your fingers. So we're pulling in a diagonal line across the back line of our body. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And reach, reach, reach. We're working those glutes and the hamstrings. We're working those scapular stabilizers. We're gently pushing down into the roller with that opposite arm. We have 1 more on each side. Lower all the way down. We're gonna go ahead and bend those elbows. Stay in that hover position. Now we're gonna stretch out nice and long. Keep those arms long. Push down into the roller to lift the chest and draw the shoulders away from those earlobes. Lengthen back down. So we inhale to lift and exhale to lower, going into that swan dive. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. We're gonna go into swan dive rocking. So we're gonna inhale it up, toes lead the way. Keep the shape of your body as you're doing this. So toes lead the way up. Don't let your chest drop. Pick it back up. Toes lead the way and up. We're gonna do this 2 more times. Last one. And lower all the way down. From here, go ahead and sit back into a nice child's pose. You can have your knees together, round out that spine. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale. Come onto all fours. We're just gonna do a little cat stretch to relax that spine. Take that inhale to prepare. And if you notice here, the hips are right over the knees. The shoulders are right over your hands. Your head is balanced on your shoulders. Take an inhale to prepare and exhale. We're gonna kegel, curl the tail under and feel that curve rippling up through the back 1 vertebra at a time. We're gonna inhale through the ribs and exhale, reach the tail feathers to the back wall, lengthening out 1 vertebra at a time, back into extension. So watch that you're not sinking into extension, but it is supported and you're not here, but the head's balanced on those shoulders. So here, inhale to prepare, exhale as we kegel, curl the tail under. Feel those ribs pulling up to the spine, nice high curve. Push those palms down into the floor. Inhale through the back of the ribs. Exhale, reach the tail feathers to the back wall, lengthen down into that nice extension. We're gonna do that 1 more time. Inhale, prepare. Exhale as we kegel, curl the tail under. Feel that belly button lifting up to that spine, rippling through the spine. Inhale and exhale. Feel those sit bones opening wide as you go into that extension. Back into that beautiful, nice U shape. I've come up to standing and we're gonna use the foam roller as our bar. And we're gonna just start off with some ankle circles. So we're just gonna go ahead and tendu to the front or devant and just circle the feet, keeping the kneecap nice and still or the thigh still. So we're not gonna turn out and turn in with the leg. It's gonna be a pure ankle movement. We're gonna do 5 more. As you're circling, I want you to think about reaching all the numbers in a clock. 2 more, reverse. So we have 10, keep growing up and out of that pelvis, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, if you want to challenge your balance, bring that foam roller up and hold on to it instead. Other side, again, growing up, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse it. Again, keeping that thigh nice and still. And 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep growing. 2, 1. Lower it down, bring it in. Again, set that aside. And from here, we're gonna go into releves. So it's really important when we're doing our pirouettes to have that really nice high releve. What that's gonna do is it's gonna allow us to complete more turns. The lower that heel goes, the more your weight starts to shift and pull you off balance. Also, if we're thinking about it in science terms, the smaller the point in contact with the floor, the quicker you'll be able to go, right? So the less friction you'll have and the more able you'll be to perform multiple turns. So we want to create that small surface area, that nice high heel so we can stay balanced on center. So from here, I'm just going to go show sideways, and we're just again going to think about the ribs being stacked over the pelvis. And your releve also, you want to think about keeping the front of the hip bones in line with the pubic bone. So again, this is our neutral pelvis. When we were lying down on that roller, we had that contact with our sacrum on that roller. So if you're standing, I want you to imagine that you have that roller behind you, right? And you're making contact with your head, with your ribs, and with your sacrum. Okay, so that's our position in that neutral. We're gonna lower it down. So we're just gonna do some releves here. So we're gonna take that inhale and exhale. Again, we're thinking about keeping that contact with that roller. Lower it down as if you're lowering on a little bird's egg. So the more you stretch your head in opposition from your toes, the more stable you're gonna be as well. Exhale. And we're gonna lower those heels. We're growing the tops of the ears down or up and away to the clouds. And reaching up. And imagine that you have a giant straw. You're inside a giant straw. Someone is sucking you up and out of that straw as you lower those heels. Let's do the same thing in our turnout. In our turnout, we're reaching those heels forward. And again, our ribs are stacked over that pelvis. We take that inhale and exhale, reach those heels forward, lift up those kneecaps, find that high releve. Again, feel that energy of lifting up and out of those toes. Lower down as if you were being lifted up, sucked up through that straw. And give yourself a little plie. We're gonna do that again. Again, pressing those heels forward. Grow up, up, up. Kneecaps pulled up, glutes are lifted. And again, reach those heels forward. Feel those deep lateral rotators that we worked on with those clamshells on the roller or on the floor, doing the sideline. Then from here, we're gonna go into that reach-your-right position. So find your fifth. We're gonna wrap those toes. Here's those clamshells, right? So we're reaching that knee open in opposition of that standing knee. So both thighs are spiraling backward, right? So you're feeling that good openness through the pelvis. We're lifting up. We're not side bending one way or the other. And this hip isn't lifted, but it's nice and dropped, right? So the standing glutes on. We're gonna go ahead and reach up. I'm just gonna turn sideways so you can, again, see the alignment. So again, those ribs are stacked over that pelvis. We're just drawing straight up. Watch that you don't stick your bum out, right? Or that you don't tuck under, right? That's just gonna pull you straight off balance. So here, coming back up to that reach position. Again, imagine you're lifting up through that straw. You've got that roller behind you and you're making contact with that roller. Come come down through your susu. Open up to your fifth and other side. So again, wrap those toes. Come up to that nice passe or that reiterate position. Open out that knee. Feel the standing glutes working to keep that thigh open. And again, feel that hip dropping. Ribs are stacked over that pelvis. Keep growing up, 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 up. Lower slowly down. Reaching that heel forward. Oh, I'm supposed to come through susu. Come through susu. And go into that plank position. Then from there, you can go ahead and set your roller aside. And you're ready to perform your pirouettes. So your pirouettes, and I'm not going to do them on this video, but I just want to talk about the preparation and what pieces I want you to think about when you're doing your pirouettes in the studio or at home. So let's say we come into our fourth position here, okay? When we're going to open up those arms, watch that the shoulders aren't leading the way and that you're rotating the ribs away from the pelvis. So you want to think again, like we did at the mat, right? That the obliques are stabilizing us. So these abdominal muscles that wrap around the sides here, those are stabilizing your rib cage on your pelvis. It's all going to move together in one piece as you're doing that pirouette, right? So we're not having one body part lead and the other one follow. The only thing that's happening is we are going to open that arm to second in preparation, but then this body half is going to close together to meet everything back up to land back into that fourth position. The more relaxed you are on top, the easier it's going to be. The more you grip, the more things pull you off of balance. So again, you want to think about nice stable scapula. We worked on when we're doing on our stomach, and we're rolling the roller forward and in. We're working those scapular stabilizers. Using those muscles, we're going to think about that as we open. Scapula is stable on our back, bringing that body half around to land back in our fourth. And always remember to spot, because that will help bring you around as well. So thinking about that pirouette, we've got that high releve, creating that small surface area, ready for your multiple turns, creating that center of balance all the way through that body. So keep that high heel. We're gonna keep that turnout, like our clamshells. So turnout to help stabilize that pelvis. We're thinking about this core area to grow and lift. So that transversus abdominis, it wraps around from the front to the back. That's job is just to compress, just to pull in. So we're thinking about that gentle pulling in and lifting up as we're doing that turn. And the more you think up, 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 the more stable you're going to be through the body. So that's it for this video. I wish you many happy turns. Thank you.